This conference will now be recorded.
So did you get a chance to find out the solution for restless assignment, the basic assignment, where the user should have an option to enter 5 different subject names and another list supposed to have 5 different marks. So the first mark what to enter supposed to present first subject, and thereafter it has to give the average marks and some marks, and consider it has to behave like a dictionary. Did you get a chance to find the solution? Hello.
No, Amar.
Yeah, tell me. Did you get a chance to find out the solution for that assignment,
No,
or
no, 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 Amar.
okay, okay. So you want me to skip and wait for your confirmation, or you want me to explain the concept? Okay, let me take it like this. So accepting a list of the values from the keyboard. So I already informed you I want 2 different lists. One list has to be considered only for the subjects. Another list has to be considered only for the marks. So I'm just giving a print to give a information to my user who is going to enter the subjects. Enter the marks of 5 different subjects. That's all, nothing else. This is just a print outcome what I'm giving displaying for my user purpose. So once you got it, the actual step is going to be the second one. So here what I'm doing is I want to display as a list. That is my information. So list is the function which I'm using. In bracket, sorry, this is the, oh, there is no marks here. Mhm. So list is the enter the 5 different marks, not subjects here. So subject supposed to be integer numeric, I mean, discrete numerical data. That means without a decimal point. So I maintain as int of p. So when you maintain int of p, that means the numbers what you are going to enter, though if you enter the decimal point, it will be converted to integer. And from where I'm getting means from p in input of split separated by space. That means input function I'm going to use it, that is nothing but user input, and between one mark to another mark I'm going to give a space. So that is the functionality of this one. So how many times the user entered, those many times the marks will be taken and updated to converted to integer and converted as a list and assigned to a variable called y. Here one catch is I did not given any restriction. That means though I'm telling enter the five subjects, the user may have an option to provide 3 subjects only. The user have an option to maintain 100 subjects. Are you getting my point? It's just a user input. I'm just giving an information saying that hey boss, give update 5. Who knows he can enter 4 subjects, or who know he may enter 6 subject numbers. So that catch we have it here. And when you say print y and type of y, you can see when I enter my first one list of this one, the system is giving a print, enter the subject of 5 marks. So when you enter 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, system is displaying 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50 as a list only. Clear? Any questions?
No, Amma.
So let me take it to the sheet itself. That will be easy and interactive. So I'm just enter my print and I'm entering a list function and I'm asking the user to enter some number. So he has an option to enter. That is going, each number whatever you're entering, it is going to be stored it into P, and the P is going to be converted as integer of P, and the numbers whatever you have integer of P will be append to your Y in a list method. So when you execute it, so enter 5 subjects, so 10 space 20 space 30 space 40 space 50. Now you can see it's created a list. Amar, I don't want to give the space, give comma or some special character, or you can use and the method of how you want to be enter. It's up to you. Or I want to display enter the first subject marks, enter the second subject marks, enter the third subject marks. Use a loop. Control statements you can use it. Nothing wrong with that. Or Amar, you use the list function. Can I use the square bracket? List is the square bracket, right? So square bracket is a list only, no? Now we people are expert than me. So list is created. So it's not meaning that I can use only the list function. You also have an option to use square bracket. It's up to you which one you are using. So the same thing I maintain in comments. So use the first one by using list function or use the square bracket. Or the marks what you are going to be accept from the user, it's not only a list, you can also take it as a tuple. So instead of using a list, I convert into tuple. It's not only a tuple, you can also convert into set. It's up to you on what basis you want. If you want to like a set, flower bracket, oh, sorry, set. So you have an option to enter user input as a tuple, list, or a set. That is fine for me. But since my requirement, my assignment was into list, so I'll stick for list only. Any questions so far? Three options I given. Three options I explained here. Now my requirement is I want to create a dictionary with the help of two different lists. One is for the subject and the other one is for the box. So here accepting the user input for keys and values as a list. So values are nothing but my marks and keys are nothing but my subjects. So merging two lists using a zip function. There is a concept called zip. By using a zip function, I'm going to be match one list with other list and converting as a library. So right now I am just creating two empty list. One is subject list, other one is a marks list. Both are empties. So if you see the length or information, you can see there is no value itself. There is no numbers. So these two are empty list. Now what I'm doing is, in the previous example, the user doesn't have any restrictions that he can enter four subjects. Even now I entered only one subject, still system consider it is a set or a list or a tuple. So there is no restriction. But I want to give some kind of restriction, the first level of restriction, where user has to have mandatory step he has to enter five different subjects. So what I did here is I am taking a for loop. For loop I'm using. Within the for loop I'm taking a input, user input. So print, enter the 5 subjects. So the for loop is going to be executed for 5 times. It's not going to be executed one time. Now in a for loop, p in a range of 1,6. Enter the name of the subject 1,6. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 subjects will be there. 6 is not going to be there, n minus 1. So 5 subjects will be there. Now I'm going to take an input of enter the name of the subject. So name of the subject plus I'm converting the number whatever you are displaying here. Instead of integer, I'm converting to string. Enter the subject 1, enter the subject 2, enter the subject 3, the name of the subject. Then I'm going to be once the user enter the information, I'm storing the subject information to key. Once it's stored into key, I am going to be append to your subject list, and it's a list, so behavior is going to be list only. So subject dot append in bracket the key, the user whatever he entered, it is going to be entered. Is it clear? Any questions? And let me show you. So subject is going to be empty, marks is going to be empty. Now enter the five subjects. For loop I'm explaining which I did it. So 0 to 5 you can take, or 1 to 6 you can take it. Generally 0 will never consider when you come to general discussion, so I taken from 1 to 6. So 5 subjects the for loop is going to execute. An input of enter the name of a subject. So I'm requesting user to enter the subject name. So and I'm giving an instruction which the numbers which has been increased, it's going to be showcased in a character manner, string manner, not as a integer manner. And the user whatever he entered, it is going to assign to a variable called key. That key I'm appending to the empty list called subject. Is it clear?
Yes, Amma.
So first time this is test information, so system automatically showcase this test information. Then the system start working on loop. System, the first one is going to be 1 is going to assign to p. So and it's the input function, so user has an option to enter input, enter the name of the subject plus character 1. So character 1 is displayed. It's not a -1, it's just my symbol here. So let me remove that. Now you can see. Let me put it like this, that will be easy. So you can see enter the subject 1, you might give math. Enter the subject 2. How I'm getting 2 means it is because of for loop from the range. First time it's going to take 1. Again the for loop will be executed. It is till completion of your range. Second time the p value will be 2. So the string of p is going to be 2. So you're getting 2. So English, chemistry, physics, and Hindi. So after 5 subjects, system is going to be come out. But what is happening internally means the user whatever he entered will be assigned to key variable. The key is going to be append to subject list. So when you see print of subject, you can see the list is created because of append option. Any question?
No, Amar.
Similarly, I'm doing the same exercise for marks also. So the previous one was subject, and now I'm doing the same exercise, nothing else. for the marks, but instead of using range of 1 to 6, I'm using range of 0 to 5. There is a reason why I'm using this one. Going forward, I'll explain. Now, I'm planning to do nested for loop. So when I'm doing nested one, then I require this concept. So for enter the marks of 5 subjects. For I in range of 0, 0, 5, I'm taking input, enter the subject marks of subject of I. Subject of I is going to be which one? Whatever you're considered in the previous step. Subject of 1 plus string of P.
Okay.
Subject. Hello?
Yeah.
So I'm entering the marks for string of P. String of P is nothing but subject 1. And subject of Y is nothing but 0. So I am taking 2 levels at once in single step, and I'm appending the marks to marks. Print subject and print marks. Now math, English, physics, chemistry, and Hindi. Now enter the marks of 5 different subjects. Enter the subject marks of math. P.
P means
Math. It's up. I'm just thinking. I'll check it out. Okay. It's taken the last number directly. So 40 math subject. English was taking the last number only. Which was supposed to take. Wait. It's taking the last number directly instead of the positions. I'll check it out why it's not taking. So English I'm giving 30, physics I'm taking 56 and 33 and 33. So now there are 2 lists. One is my first one is subject, second one is a marks. I'll check it out why 5 is coming only the last number instead of the positions. But I don't require this one, right?
Yeah, P is like in the subject loop also there. Maybe it is calling from the subject.
Yes. ఎన్ని నిద్రపోతూ రాస్తాను అందువల్ల ఇట్లా ఉంటాయి. హిందీ, ఇంగ్లీష్, తెలుగు, chemistry, and Urdu, something. Enter the 5 subjects. It will not take. The reason is that is mandatory. String of P. User input string of P is mandatory. 0 plus this one. But why I'm getting 5? I'll check it out. No, I don't want to waste your time on this. So English, Telugu, Urdu, chemistry and physics. English I have 30, 20, 50, 20 and 10. Forget about the 5. I'll rectify it. So you can see there is 2 lists is created. One is a subject, the other one is a marks. Now my requirement is I need to be combine these 2 different lists and convert as a dictionary. That means 30 has to be should be a key value value for key called English. Telugu is a key and the corresponding value is supposed to be 40. And Urdu is the key for corresponding value is supposed to be 50. So how to match 2 different lists and convert as a dictionary in the sense by using a zip function. So there is a concept called zip. So by using a zip function, we can able to combine 2 different lists and use it as a dictionary. So I'm using zip in function of first list followed by second list. So first list will have a key, second list will have a values.
Mhm.
Clear?
Yeah.
And I'm assigning to a new variable called x. When you see type of x, system will not show the dictionary. It will show a zip object. It will show the zip object. Now you can see
Mm.
the dictionary is not created. It's just showing a zip object saying that the class is a zip, but I want a dictionary to be there. So that is how to create a dictionary from here means convert from the zip to dictionary. So data type is created and list type is going to be convert first. Convert into list. The zip whatever we created convert into list. Not only here, wherever you have the object is created, but you cannot able to retrieve as per your requirement, then better option is try to as a first exercise convert it into list. To change anything. నేను ఏదో ఒకటి చేస్తూ ఉంటారు తప్పుడు చేస్తాను. Five subjects. Just wait into this. Okay. Iterable types should be iterable types. What happened to this? Subject 1 English, Hindi, physics, chemistry, and math. Now you can see when I use a zip function, the system has created a zip object, but it's not displayed as a dictionary. Are you getting my point?
Yeah.
So not only zip, if you use any function, sometimes you cannot able to see the results as you expected. So as a first step, what we suggest is convert that object into list. So when you convert that object into list, you can see there are two values are created with it like a set, like a what to say tuple. So within the list, the tuple is created. The reason is I just converted into list.
Mm-hmm.
So the list is created, but within the list, I have two different objects. One is a marks, one is a what do you say values, subjects. So first mark and first value together, first subject and first marks combined together and created as a set.
Mm-hmm.
Tuple is created. So now this tuple I want to convert into dictionary. So use a dist function on top of list.
Mm.
So system converted this list as a dictionary with you can see the dictionary is created with a class called dictionary, and you can see the marks is going to be value and key is going to be the subject. There are 3 steps we are involved. In the first step, we created an empty list, and followed by for loop we used to accept the user input. In the second step, we measure 2 different list by using a GIF function. In the third step, we converted the GIF object as a list followed by the dictionary. So 2 conversions we did.
Yeah.
Giri, are you getting my point? Any questions?
No, ma.
So here I used a for loop for controlling in an initial controlling level, like accepting only 5, not less than 5 or greater than 5. No more, I want to give the freedom to enter any number, then go to the numbers what I explained long back, like this. There is no control. You can enter 3 subjects or you can enter 10 subjects. There is no control itself. So it's up to your call whether to accept many, whether to accept only few. Clear? Okay. Till now, whatever you discussed, all are data types only, nothing else. And doing with the help of some control statements, we minimize the code or trying to achieve the target what based on basic assignments. But is it good enough? Means no. How many times you could write the same code for loop, same time while loop? How many times you can write? If you have a large program, it's difficult to write the same repeated code, right? Those scenario we are going to use the functions. So functions in Python, this is the next concept what we are going to come after data types. A function is a block of statement performing a particular task. You can say it's a piece of code in the main program which you feel that it is going to be repeatable multiple times, write once and execute multiple times. A function is not executed automatically. So you're defining your piece of code. It can be 10 lines or 20 lines or 100 lines, whatever it may be. You're defining once and call that function wherever you require in the entire program. To execute a function, we need to make a call. As I told you, it is going to be write a code, but it's not going to be execute automatically. Like when you write for loop, automatically it will execute when you run the program. But function will not be execute like that. You need to call that function. Hey boss, just come and do perform your activity. Then all the system will do that. So you need to make a call, function call, to perform that piece of code. We can make n number of function calls. As I told you, it is a piece of code wherever you want in the main program. How many times you want, you can able to execute it. Functions are executable only on demand. So it is not straight away like x equal to a plus b. If I write it, it will perform. You have to make a call, then only it will be executed. Any questions? In Python, a function is defined by using a keyword called def. So if you want to write a piece of code as a function which is going to be repeatable multiple times in our main program, then use def. In other way, I can say that Amar has a habit of sending the same statement to all the friends, like many happy returns. I have 1 lakh friends. All 1 lakh friends has birthday today. So don't you think that writing many returns of the day for 1 lakh people is going to be difficult? What I can do is I can write a small code. If I send to all the people the same code, the system will perform 1 lakh times and it will send a mail or send a message. One time I written a program with 1 line or 2 lines of statement, and I'm calling the same function for 1 lakh people. So my task is reduced, right? The main program is going to be reduced. It's not going to be repeated at the same time. Are you getting Yamini and Giri?
Yes, Amar.
So how to write a function in your main program? In a sense, you can use def as it's supposed to be a prefix and function name. What is the function name you are going to write it? Like for example, you already perform some functions, some mean, max, min, all these things we discussed when it come to control statements. So those are your program defined functions, and user can define his own functions like function names in bracket arguments. There might be a chance based on your inputs, system has to consider those values and perform some piece of code. So those scenario you need to give your arguments, and if you want to write what is this function about, it is going to do the mathematical calculation like a sum, mean, average, max, minimum. Just write something so the user can understand what this function related to, and write the number of piece of code what you want to write it. Then optionally you have an option to write return statement. So after performing step 1, step 2, step 3, you have some outcome. If you want to store that outcome and in your function, then use return statement, or else you can stop it. All the statements within the function follow the same indentation. So you can see here def is started in the 0 line in the column, but the statements are started maybe 4 tab spaces. So the indentation should be followed. For an example, if I give statement 3, the indentation is 0 position, that means it is going to be syntax error or program error. Clear? Indentation will play a vital role. Document string tells about the functionality of the function. So what functionality the system is going to do it within these lines, like as I told you, mathematical calculation for max, min, whatever it may be. You want to calculate the max and min, sum and average maybe 100 times in the main program. Then write a piece of code for max, min and call that function the 100 times. So the 10 lines of program you are using for 100 times, so 400 lines of code has been reduced. So specify the document string is an optional, so it's not mandatory, it's an optional, you can write it. For an example, the code may be like this: def, I want to display something, so my function name is going to be display in open and close bracket. I'm not going to give any inputs to my program, I'm just displaying something. So open and close bracket, colon, that is the syntax. So I'm just giving a highlight to my developer who's viewing this one, function to display developer message, that's all, nothing. So print, developer is Amarnath Paritala, and print Python version 3.8.1. Now so this is the function is created. Now when you execute this function, you'll get nothing. You'll get nothing. The reason is function is not going to be executed directly. It's not independent. It is a dependent on a call function. You need to call the function. So display is the function name what is created by you. So open and close bracket. Now this is called call function. When you enter somewhere in your program, then only the system is going to be called this function. Within the function, I have 2 different outputs. One is a developer is another, and the second one is a Python version. Now you can see the outcome is performed. If you write 100 times the same call function, 100 times this print is going to be executed. Are you getting what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, man.
So assume that right now I have 2 lines of prints. Assume that you have 100 lines of print. By using call function, I reduce the number of code lines in my main program. Indirectly, you're doing optimization by using call function. Giri, are you getting?
Number.
So call properties, the function properties. A function can be executed multiple times. So as I told you, I executed 5 to 6 times here. It is not meaning that you have to execute only once. Advantage of functionality is code reusability. So how many times I want to execute the same code, the display code, those number of times I can able to execute. If I have, for example, 10 lines of print, the 10 lines of print I'm executing with one call function, that means 1:9. So the code is going to be reduced. The order which you function are defined and the order which you are calling the function need not to be the same. For example, define def English, print English words, def math, print numbers 1 to 100. So it's not meaning that I need to call the English only, then only I can call my math. There is no sequence like that. You can call any function anytime. For example, now I can call math then English. Spelling word mistake. Okay. So there is a spelling mistake again. ENGLISH. So don't worry. Those are writing in the midnight for me. So you can see here, I'm calling my math function first, then I'm calling my English. Again, if you want, I can call my math. So there is no sequence that you need to be follow. First I created English, so I need to call only English. There is no property like that. Any function you can call anytime. Clear?
Yeah.
And there is there might be a chance one function may be available in another function. So I can, by calling one first function, automatically I can call my second function also. For an example, I have a defined compute, print hello, display. So my display, we already discussed. I'm creating one more function called compute. So in a compute, I have a hello. As a second statement in the same indentation, I have display also. That means if I'm calling a function called compute, system is going to display hello, followed by it is calling another function called display. Within the display, I have two more lines of program. This is going to be executed. So when I call compute, you can see hello, developer is Amarnath, Python is version is so and so. So it's not meaning that you need to mention the function name, call function name in the main program. Your function name can be a sub function in the another program also. So my display is a sub function in a function called compute. So whenever I call compute, automatically your display also called. Clear? Any questions? Hello? Is it clear or confusing?
No much.
Okay. So we'll stop for the day, and tomorrow we'll start working with the functions. So function properties and everything we'll discuss tomorrow. Once you finish functions and libraries, we are going to start your own assignment. Let me stop recording.